Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I'm your host, Carolyn Mills. Today we'll be looking at Cheers Season 2, Episode 11, Just Three Friends. This episode first aired December 15th, 1983. It was directed by James Burrows. It was written by David Lloyd. Lloyd sadly passed away in 2009 from prostate cancer. Guest cast includes Marky Post as Heather Landon. Post passed away in 2021 from cancer. Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience is said by Shelley Long for this episode. In the summary, in the cold open, Sam comes into the bar. Coach tells him that he found an answer to the neighborhood robberies. Sam says not to worry because he's getting an alarm system. Coach says he's got something better, a dog, a gigantic attack dog. Sam asks where they would keep it as he opens his office door. The dog growls. Sam shuts the door and tells Coach to get rid of the dog. Coach does not know how. Carla says that the dog was in a cage when they brought him in. She adds, but I think he ate it. Cliff says that he knows how to deal with canines. He opens the door and says, sit. Sam tells him the dog is already sitting, and Cliff replies, nuke the beast, Sam, where everybody knows your name plays. Coach apologizes to Sam, and Sam tells him to call the owner to come and get the dog. It's one of those rare instances where the cold open continues on through the rest of the show. Diane comes in with her friend Heather. She introduces them all to Heather, then individually introduces Carl and Coach. Coach asks Heather if she would like something to drink, and she says a coffee. Diane then introduces Norm and Cliff. Cliff is tongue-tied. Heather says she loves Cheers, and Diane agrees it's a great place. Coach gets off the phone as Sam comes from the back. Coach tells Sam that he tried to call the dog owner, but no one answered. Sam thanks him for trying. Heather sees Sam and says he's just like Diane described him. Diane introduces Sam and Heather. Sam tells her, I heard Diane babble a lot about you. Actually, sorry, babble about you a lot. That's actually a great throw line. I think it's kind of like a throwaway line. um that he recognizes her name from Diane babbling all the time, and he's just heard her, but he doesn't know anything that she said because, as we know, Sam often tubes Diane out when she does that. Diane says that Heather just moved to Boston, and interestingly enough, we're never going to see her again. Boston is a big city, though, but you'd think being friends in this episode that we would see them more, but nope. Diane says that they get goofy when they are together. They tell Sam about the prank phone call that they made, and they crack up at their joke. Norm laughs a la Ralph Cramden from The Honeymooners. He says har har. And if you're familiar with The Honeymooners, from the 50s with Jackie Gleason, um, Jackie Gleason's character was Ralph Cramden, and he would often laugh by going, hardy, har, har, har. And that's what this reminded me of. That was usually his, just like Norm here, it was a sarcastic laugh that is not really funny. Cliff says the joke is pathetic. Diane and Heather go to the back. Heather tells Sam, I'm just sorry Diane got to you first. Sam tells the others that Heather just came on to him. The gang thinks he's crazy. Then Norm says that he's had experience with the same thing. When he and Vera were dating, Vera's little sister flirted with him. He says he finally asked her out, but she turned him down. He adds that it was at his wedding, and Vera was furious. Sam tells them that it's more than innocent flirtation, but they don't believe him. I'm wondering if this is the same sister from the later years that visits um Norm and Vera, and Norm's all stressed out because she's constantly hitting on him to the point that she's walking around nude and things like that. I assume it's probably the same sister. Diane and Heather come back out. Sam's trying to open a jar, and Heather says, ooh, muscles. Cliff concedes that Sam may be right. Carla says that Heather hasn't seen the entire bar yet. She takes them over to Sam's office and tries to push Diane in there with the attack dog. I actually at this point had forgotten there was an attack dog, which made it even funnier. I think it's actually good that I forgot because I got so into everything else that was going on. I forgot about the I forgot about the cold open. Sam tells Carla that was a lousy thing to do, and Carla blows a raspberry. Heather says that she has to leave. Diane says she and Sam will have dinner with her later that night. She says that she will cook now. She will cook because now that Heather lives in town, the three of them can become good friends. Sam tells Heather that he wants to borrow Diane, and Heather says she knows why and makes those kissing noises. Sam tells Diane he doesn't think that he and Heather should hang out. He explains that Heather's coming on to him, but Diane doesn't believe her. Diane Diane tells Heather what Sam said. Heather tells him, Sam, I want you, and I don't care who knows it. Diane is shocked, and then Heather yells, Gotcha. She says she wouldn't give up her friendship with Diane unless Sam was rich also. Everyone laughs except for Coach. When they all stop laughing, Coach cracks up. Another great scene here where Coach just totally starts laughing, and it's after everybody else has already stopped. It's like he finally caught on to what was being, um, what was what was so funny. Or if we go back to an earlier episode where Coach is in the office, sorry, where Sam and Diane are in the office laughing, and then Coach comes in and he just randomly starts laughing too. Um, oh, Carl's in the office too on that one. So it may just be that he's just laughing because everybody else is. Sorry, I keep yawning. Had another restless night again. Norm and Cliff are pranking people with the car joke. You know, the one that they earlier didn't think was funny. Carla tells Diane that Heather has the hots for Sam. Diane asks her why she thinks that, and Carla says, because Sam thinks it. It's interesting because when Sam said it, nobody believed him. Norm said he could kind of understand and thought maybe, and then Cliff later on concedes it. But at the time, nobody believed him, and now suddenly Carl's saying, if Sammy believes it, I believe it. What do you think? I mean, all the experience Sam has with women, who would better know when a woman's hitting on them? Diane clarifies that Sam no longer thinks so, but Carla trusts Sam's first instinct. Diane starts to have doubts. Sam is excited about tonight. He says he's never had a female friend before. I had two thoughts about this line. One is poor Carla. He's never had a female friend. Carla's one of his best friends, but she's constantly forgotten as being female, which is also why Sam often does not realize the crush that she has on him. And my other thing is that when he says he never had a female friend before, later in the Rebecca years, he tells Rebecca the same thing. He says, I've never had a friend before. And she says, you have lots of friends. And he's like, no, I never had a friend before. That's actually they had slept together. So different kind of had a friend from here and then the Rebecca years, but virtually the same line. So I thought that was interesting. Diane responds, tonight? And Sam reminds her about the dinner. Diane says she was having second thoughts because veal comes from baby cows. Diane, sorry, Sam says that it doesn't matter what they eat. He explains, I just think that being friends with a sexy woman like Heather is a big step in my maturity. Probably using the phrase sexy woman with your girlfriend about another woman is not wise. Carla says they need to get into the office because they need more gin. Diane says that with Sam's mind on the dog, they should probably cancel the dinner for tonight. Sam says that he will take care of the dog. And nobody even notices how blatantly obvious that Diane is trying hard to get this dinner canceled. Norm says he's taking care of it, the dog, as he mixes drinks in a huge bowl. Coach says that he got in touch with the owner, who told him booze calms the dog right down. Norm gives uh the drink to the dog. And this made me wonder. We find out later that Norm has a dog. I think it's in a season 4 episode, but I don't even remember. It could be this year, could be five. It's a Diane year though. He's they go from house to house with different people saying what happened in the previous episode. It's one of those two-part deals. And Norm is talking, and we think, well, I don't want to give it away, but we find out he has a dog. So I'm curious, do you think Norm's ever given his dog alcohol? Knowing how much alcohol Norm drinks. So Norm goes into the office with the dog and tells him he's a good boy. Coach says that the owner said booze also makes the dog very amorous. Norm tells the dog, hey, not that good. Heather arrives at Diane's house. She shows Diane the new dress she bought, and Diane is upset that she got a new dress today of all days. Then she's upset when Heather tells her, I sure like Sam. Diane mutters, slut. When Heather asks what she says, Diane replies, I said, thanks a lot. Interesting save there, Diane. Sam comes in and kisses Diane. He apologizes for earlier and he thinks that they will all be good friends. I love how many times they keep saying they're all going to be good friends, considering we never see her again. Because, of course, this was 1983, the following year. Marky Post, along with Harry Anderson, who's been on the show many times as Harry the Hat, will be doing, well, not quite. Harry Anderson will be doing Night Court. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. Will be doing the series Night Court. He plays Judge Harry Stone. There's actually a lawyer before Marky Post. I think there's one, there may be two. Been a while since I've watched it. But Marky Post does not start with everybody else, but she'll eventually be going on to play Christine Sullivan, the lawyer in Night Court. Diane is eager to serve dinner so that dinner can be over. She returns to the kitchen. Heather and Sam sit on the couch. Sam says that friendship is great, and Heather asks, what's that saying about friends and lovers? Sam replies, friends and lovers, don't leave home without them. They laugh and start tickling each other, and Diane comes out and yells, dinner time. Whoa. I just accidentally knocked my microphone off. I had to fix it. Sam tells her that she doesn't need to shout. She says, hunger makes me want to shout. Heather and Sam head to the table. Sam pours wine while Diane brings out the food. And Sam says again, it'll be good to be good friends. Heather adds, just like Porthos, Athos, and Aramis. Diane tells her that Sam won't get that reference. Sam says he knows music and asks if it was the Supremes. Another kind of fun throwaway joke. I noticed on Internet Movie Database somebody had pointed there was an error here where Sam, who is an alcoholic, is serving wine because they claimed that there was 3 glasses. If you watch, there's actually only 2 glasses. He puts one out for Heather and he puts one out for Diane. He only has water because there's also 3 glasses of water on the table. So that is not a continuity thing or a concern of Sam falling off the bandwagon. I have to keep thinking when I say Heather, the character Marky Post played, because every time I think Marky Post, I automatically think Christine Sullivan. So I'm like, hey, Heather. So that's why there's pause sometimes there. Diane says they're having spaghetti. Heather says she thought they were having veal Oscar. Diane says there's some in the spaghetti. And Sam is surprised because earlier Diane didn't want to have to eat the veal because it came from a baby calf. Diane says, well, the calf was dead already. Heather reminds Diane how they used to eat spaghetti as a child. She puts one piece in her mouth and sucks it like that. And they all laugh, and then they're all doing it. I'm curious because I looked up when Shelley Long and Marky Post were both born, the years, and I also looked up when Lady and the Tramp came out. They would have been alive for that. Both would be young children. Marky Post is a couple years older. I think she's 4 years older actually. But I'm curious if that's. I mean, assuming their characters about the same age as they are, I was thinking that very well may be where they got the whole sucking the spaghetti thing from watching Lady and the Tramp eat together. You know, that famous meatball scene. This is the night, Sabella Nota. When Diane does it, they just look at her. Sam tells her that she has sauce on her blouse. Sam and Heather discuss how great the spaghetti is. Then they start to feed each other. Heather takes a bite of the garlic bread and moans. Sam tries some and they discuss the bread. Sam tells Heather she has sauce on her mouth. They both lick the corners of their mouth. I can see why Diane's kind of worried. Um, Besides the fact of what Carla had said earlier to her. But I mean, this is definitely, as Sam put it earlier, beyond innocent flirtation. I mean, she's licking her mouth, she's moaning. Um, they're feeding each other. These are not things to do as a normal thing, at least from what I've seen around people. So I could see why Diane would be suspicious. Diane screams and jumps up, knocking the chair over. She asks Heather, "Have you no shame?" Heather says they were just enjoying their meal. Diane says that meal is inedible. Sam tells Diane that is doing what he did earlier when she called him nuts. Heather says that she is very friendly and people sometimes mistake it. Yeah, I think she's have it too friendly. I mean, funny, but a little bit too friendly perhaps. However, she is surprised that Diane didn't understand. Diane apologizes, and Heather says it's happened to her before with other people where she's lost friends because of how friendly she is. However, oh, I'm sorry, I read that line already. Um, Sam continues eating, and he tells Heather that Diane didn't mean it. Diane can't believe he's still eating, but he's explained he's gotten through worse when eating. Heather decides to leave. She says she is making Diane uncomfortable. Diane says that their friendship is important and doesn't want to ruin it. Heather forgives her and they hug. Sam says that it was sweet and he and Heather hug. Sam hugs Diane, then he turns back to hug Heather, but quickly hugs Diane again. And that's the end of the episode. I gave this episode 5 out of 5 beer nuts. I may be slightly biased as I'm a big fan of Night Court as well as Cheers, and Marky Post was my favorite one on that show. And the MVP for the episode is, of course, Marky Post. Not just because I'm biased and think she's incredibly talented, but she had a big part in this one. She did everything really well, the whole flirting thing. And then trying to convince Diane that she was not after Sam, but it seemed like she was, and she did it just perfectly. Best dressed, I gave to Carla Tortelli. I really liked the blouse she had on, which she had throughout the series. Without throughout the episode. Sorry. Grand Slam line. Heather says this is the WTRM radio contest. For a trip to Hawaii, can you tell me 3 cars to start with P? Sam says Porsche, Plymouth, Pontiac. Diane replies, "No, I'm sorry, those cars all start with gas." I use this line all the time. I love trying to trick people, and I can always tell who's never seen this episode. On baseline, Cliff, pleased to do ya. I mean, how do I meet me? Ah, forget it. Norm says, "Smooth, Cliff." That was right after he met Heather. Here's a little known fact. When Sam tells Diane she got sauce on her blouse, if you look at the blouse, it is spotless. If you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, all those button things we click and do. You can please join the Facebook group. Cheers, that's one woman's opinion. And follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. Follow us on Twitter X at One Woman's Opinion. And of course, you can always email us with questions and comments at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast at gmail.com. Also, I would like to bring this up again. Oh, I'll do this in a second. But if there's anybody that you would like me to try to contact to get an interview with, please let me know on any of the things that I just talked about there, Facebook, email, etc. And next week will be Cheers Season 2, Episode 12, Where There's a Will. And this was episode 11 of 22, which means we are now halfway through Season 2. So, also not only for the show itself, if there's somebody you want me to interview, either doesn't have to be just cast, I mean crew, anybody. Guest stars as always. I could try to get a hold of them. But if there's anybody from any of the shows that came out in 1984 or that are current, well, not currently, but from 1983 for the seasons that we're on, again, please also feel free to let me know. And I will do my best to get them. And that's one woman's opinion.